Well, hello, my friends. This is episode, 4 or 5, something, of the Bizarre AF. And I'll be your host today. With me is my co-host with the most, Kevin. How are you doing?
Hola, señorita.
And just like before, we find ourselves here to talk about the strange, the unbelievable, and you got it, the bizarre. Lucky us, we have a guest in our studio today, our dear friend and fellow theater nerd, Andrew Neary.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to get weird with us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Happy to be here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So we've known Andrew for, how long have you known Andrew for, Kevin?
It's been years.
2015-ish?
Yeah, so what happened was we met in a audition.
Mm-hmm.
And the director made him kiss me.
Okay.
Because the play is Kiss of a Spider Woman. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie or the play. It's really, really, really good. And so, yeah, she made him do that scene. Yay, me. But anyway, that's how we met.
And then afterwards asked me, so tell me, why did you kiss Kevin? I said, because the script told me.
Yeah, is this a trick question?
I just read the stage directions and do what I'm supposed to. So. There's no deeper meaning behind
I'm
my
an actor.
motivations.
Yeah. I do what I'm told.
That's right.
Okay, so for today, I thought we would talk about the Green Fairy.
What is the Green Fairy?
Yeah, Green Fairy is like another word or another term for absinthe.
Okay.
They called her the Green Fairy, so she kind of like made you hallucinate and stuff like that.
Okay.
She was actually a dame who cursed and caused many ills, from fighting contaminated water sources to causing psychotic episodes that end in murder.
Oh, God.
This actually led to a prohibition-style ban in Europe, and if you know, the Europeans banning liquor is a fucking big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So have you guys ever heard of this stuff?
Oh, yeah.
So I've heard of absinthe.
Okay.
I personally like no bueno. But doesn't it have sometimes it can have hallucinogenics in it, right? Like
Yes.
wormwood or something weird like that.
Wormwood is one of the active ingredients. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you're right on the money. What about you, Andrew?
Yeah, definitely have heard of it and tried it by itself and in cocktails. I'm not huge on the licorice flavor, which kind of comes through pretty heavy in it. But there are some cocktails that it's really good mixed into. And I was actually really disappointed the first time I had it when I found out, when you get it in the U.S., it actually doesn't have any of the hallucinogenic propies in it, just the licorice
You're like,
flavor.
oh.
So
What's the point?
Yeah, if we're not going to hallucinate, what the fuck? My first time actually trying, or not trying absinthe, because I was a goody two shoes. I did not try absinthe until it was legal.
Oh.
But it was Moulin Rouge.
Yep.
That was the first time that I
was
had
my
even heard of it.
first experience with it too. Kylie Minogue, the
Yeah.
Green Fairy.
She was the great. Did you ever watch Moulin Rouge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Green Fairy is in it. That's part of.
We're talking about the movie?
The movie.
The movie, yeah, when the whole troupe, Toulouse-Lautrec and Ewan McGregor, whatever his
And
name
Kylie
is.
Minogue is in this?
They all
Yeah.
take absinthe and they start hallucinating Kylie Minogue as a green fairy dancing
She's so
around.
cute.
She
Why
looks
Why
like
don't I remember
Tinkerbell.
this?
Yes.
Yeah.
She totally.
Okay. Wow.
No joke. That's in my notes.
Yeah.
As I said,
Okay.
I knew it, and she looked like Tinkerbell.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was
So they're listening.
one other movie that I saw it in, and let's see, From Hell with Johnny Depp. He does it too. He's a detective, and tripping out on absinthe helps him find Jack the Ripper.
Okay.
So my only experience with it before trying it was just seeing it in movies.
You're like,
but
I need
yeah.
to try this. Yeah, great.
He made it look really cool.
Yeah, it does look really, really cool when you have those. I was in the Christian club and stuff. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, what is this absinthe?
It's because there's a
In high
whole
school.
ritual with the preparation and everything, and it just
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a total thing.
Okay.
So actually, as far as like the history goes, the active ingredient in absinthe is wormwood. And it sounds like it's something out of Harry Potter, but it's a real plant that in large quantities can be lethal or poisonous.
Okay.
But when diluted, it can be used for medicinal purposes. So the plant that I'm specifically talking about is absinthe wormwood, hence absinthe.
Oh, okay.
The name. So in the Middle Ages, it was actually used to spice mead and to put in chicken nesting boxes, like to prevent from like lice and mites and vermin, stuff like that. And actually, Shakespeare even spoke of its bitters use in weaning in the infamous Romeo and Juliet. So Andrew, can you please put on your thespian hat and read what Juliet's nurse said regarding wormwood?
Of course. Oh, this is the nurse. Wonderful. This is traditional, having a man play the nurse. For I had then laid wormwood to my dug.
What do you guys think that means?
For I had then laid wormwood to my dug. I don't know
What's
what a
her
dug
dug?
is.
I don't even want to know what she's trying to keep vermin
So
out of.
she's trying to wean Juliet. She's putting wormwood on her dug. A dug is a...
She's trying...
Go ahead and say it.
Is it a private part?
It's a private part.
Is it her nipples?
Yes, it's her nipples, but
Oh,
it does sound like it's like the vagina.
Yeah,
So
something
wait,
else.
is that like, would that work like other drugs? Like, would she be hallucinating from like absorbing the wormwood through the nipples?
That's a great question. Well, what they were saying is that they would put that wormwood on the nipples because it was super bitter, and as we can smell, because I made us cocktails, it's like a more of a bitter scent.
Okay.
And taste.
But
So
why the nipples?
So
then
the baby wouldn't.
wanted
It's to get the baby to stop
Oh,
breastfeeding.
to stop
Yeah, weaning.
breastfeeding.
Yeah, weaning.
Oh,
We should have
on
explained the concept of
page.
weaning first.
Got
Oh
it.
yeah, sorry about that.
Got it.
That was a bad assumption on my part. So so the absinthe liquor that we actually know about really gained popularity in 1844 during the Algerian War of Independence. So that was France trying to take over colonially, like Algeria, and ultimately, what you guys need to know is one, it was not until February 22nd, 1845 that the country was secured and military operations stopped. So, and then two, the French troops received daily rations of absinthe, the liqueur, to prevent sickness from contaminated water and stuff like that. And they started to get a taste for it. So we're just going to fast forward to 1863. And during that time, there was a grapevine parasite that affected all of the grapevines in European vineyards, actually 90% of the European vineyards. And the loss of wine was absinthe's gain because a lot of French soldiers had a taste for it.
So they're like, no wine. I'll have absinthe.
Yeah, there's no wine available, or it's incredibly expensive. So yeah, I'm just gonna do absinthe, and it's really fucking strong. Absinthe is really strong. So you get more bang for your buck. So speaking of, I'm actually a little thirsty. I wanted to taste a
Okay.
little bit of what these little Frenchie dudes loved. So I made you both a cocktail.
Okay.
Kevin, yours has extra absinthe because I know how much you love it.
Yay.
Okay, so this is actually Death in the Afternoon. I've made it before for Kevin. He's not a fan. The face says it all. But I thought it was just too on the nose for this podcast.
Yeah.
And for someone who appreciates literature, this is actually an Ernest Hemingway's drink. It's his drink that he created. And he said, Andrew, could you tell me what the quote is?
Yes, absolutely. Pour 1 jigger absinthe into a champagne glass. Add iced champagne until it attains the proper opalescent milkiness. Drink 3 to 5 of these slowly.
I remember that quote. I remember that.
What?
Yes.
3 to 5.
Definitely an Ernest Hemingway instruction.
It definitely is. So, so cheers, guys, to the
Okay.
Green Fairy.
All right.
Let's hope that one of you hallucinates.
Oh, God.
I'm speaking mainly to us because honestly, you don't have very much.
Really goes
It's great.
through the sinuses.
I mean, it tastes medicinal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me. What are you guys thinking?
I don't need to tell you what I'm thinking.
I love to drink cocktails.
Yeah, me too.
I just do not like licorice, and that is really licorice
hardcore,
forward.
man.
It's just one of those things. You either love it or you hate it, and if you love it, you love it, and if you hate it, you hate it.
Do you love it, Alicia?
Yeah.
You do.
I mean, I'm not gonna waste it.
Do you like black licorice?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
You
I
have to
all the
like
weird
black
shit.
licorice to drink this.
Yeah, and actually, like for a lot of cocktails, they call for it just being rinsed, like the glasses being rinsed with it.
Okay, I like a hint of it I can get.
Yeah, but you got
as a
more
layer
than
of
hint.
flavor. But yeah, this is like
And you poured a full.
yeah,
heavy
you guys
shot
got
for
like a
each of
full on
us.
shot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, we're getting the full effects of it. So
Ooh-wee.
And I have had cocktails with absinthe in it before that were actually really good, like a Sazerac, like we were talking about
Yes.
earlier. It's
So you're saying Death in the Afternoon is not good?
not my thing. Well, and I don't drink a lot of champagne either.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Not because I don't like it. I just don't. I
Right.
never buy it for myself. I'm more of like a bourbon and beer kind of guy. But
Gotcha.
Like a total dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But
Yeah.
and then like the Sazerac though, it's rye whiskey and bitters and absinthe, and I thought it was great when I had it, but the bourbon does a lot of work to cover up that licorice.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It totally does. I mean, I like it, but I get it's not everyone's taste. So
But again,
thank you.
I'm not going to let it go to waste. This glass
Great.
will be empty.
Good. And I bought an entire bottle,
But yeah, and then
which I'll be taking home with me. I know
Nice
you'll
and
hate
sweat.
it.
And I guess I have to have what? Two to
You have
two to
to-
four
yeah,
more. of
Two to
these.
four more.
Two to four more. You know,
So
to get the
drink
full
it
experience.
Very slow.
Good luck with that.
And that's what Ernest Hemingway is telling you. If Ernest Hemingway is telling you to drink something slow, it has to be powerful. So I already told you guys that the French soldiers actually had a taste for it, and they would mix it in their wine, actually. So we're talking any wine, they'd mix it in their wine.
The absence with their wine.
Yeah.
God.
So
Red,
it's
white didn't matter.
no,
Just anything.
no.
Yeah,
They're like
it's
however you can.
Disgusting.
Kevin, can you actually tell me the alcohol percentage in it?
Yeah, this says a whole 65%.
Shit. That's 130 proof.
65%. Yeah, and we have
yeah,
kava.
130 proof. That's what it says right there.
So that's flammable. That's
Oh my God, we could light this on fire?
Yeah, you want to? We have a flame right
Yeah,
here.
let's do it.
oh
Where's the
my
shot
God.
glass?
Right here.
Okay, let's
Ooh, this will be fun.
let's watch.
I
Okay,
really
let's
should
see.
have had breakfast.
Oh shoot, I forgot about that. Okay, Kevin. We're
Okay,
gonna
here we
try to
go.
light it on fire.
Should we try this?
Sure.
Audio equipment.
Okay, let's see. Ooh, I'm scared. Ah. No.
Maybe it's not high enough.
Oh yeah. No, I see the flame.
Oh, it's
Oh,
going?
God.
Is there a flame?
It is totally
my God.
flaming.
It is. I can see like the heat
Yeah, I can
rising
feel
off
it.
of it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Holy
God.
shit.
Totally on fire.
I wish the flame was green.
Oh my
God,
gosh,
that
it
would've
is
been
on
really cool.
fire. Oh, that would be really cool. Oh, great. This is not a great idea. How do you know if it's still on fire? You can hardly see it.
No, it's not.
Oh, thank
feel
God.
Drink it. See what happens.
Oh my gosh, we just light up the whole studio. Okay.
it. Wow, nuts.
So it's really nuts.
Thanks,
So,
Alesha.
yeah, no problem. So I'm here to help. So it was so popular. There are actually cafes where people would ask for un vert, which is a green. And then the early evening actually became known as the green hour, where you could smell the absinthe in the air.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah, it's really strong. So going back to how we knew about the Green Fairy, it was actually very popular with a specific group of poets and artists in France.
Because it made them all cry.
Right. We were talking about Toulouse-Lautrec. Actually, Manet painted the absinthe drinker, which we'll have in our show notes, a link to the painting. And he was really painting absinthe and the intoxication, like realistically. One of his mentors, Thomas Couture, said to him,
Oh, my poor friend, you are an absinthe drinker. Is it you have lost your moral faculty?
and then, ultimately, or another one actually said,
One must be drunk always, with wine, poetry, or with virtue. Your choice. But intoxicate yourself. That was Charles Baudelaire. For those of you who don't know, you uncultured swine.
No, you sounded just like him.
Yes. So ultimately, absinthe appealed to those who valued, liberation, a la Moulin Rouge, which we were talking about. So I just thought that it would be really nice to go through a couple of additional quotes by artists at the time about absinthe. So, Kevin?
Yeah, so Oscar Wilde declared, a glass of absinthe. It's poetical as anything in the world. What difference is there between a glass of absinthe and a sunset?
That's a good question. Andrew?
Now, who said this one? You don't have it listed for me.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. It looks like it sounds
someone.
Good, opaque, bitter.
Oh, it's actually Ernest Hemingway. Sorry.
Ernest Hemingway. Okay, again, you're giving me all the alcoholic quotes. I wonder what that means. Opaque, bitter, tongue-numbing, brain-warming, stomach-warming, idea-changing liquid alchemy. It's supposed to rot your brain out, but I don't believe it. It only changes the ideas.
That is very Ernest Hemingway of him. So ultimately, it was very, very popular with the artistic crowd and very popular just in general with the blight that happened in those vineyards. So people were drinking it left and right. But all good things must come to an end. And now that I have you both liquored up sufficiently, I thought I'd bring us back to a warm summer morning on August 28th in 1905. So picture this.
Okay.
You guys are both in a tiny rural town in Switzerland, and you're getting ready to join your friend for a day of manual labor. So Jean Lefray, he's a Frenchman who has a pregnant wife at home and two small children. So when he meets you in the morning, smelling of absinthe, you look past it. Maybe he had a rough night, needed a little pick-me-up. He's French, and knocking a couple of glasses of the Green Fairy back isn't really a stretch for them. So lunchtime rolls around, and you both enjoy a sandwich near a vineyard, and the dude has 1, 2, 6 glasses of strong wine before returning for work. And as you leave after the long day of manual labor, he stops by the vineyard to knock back another glass. And then you think, fucking does this dude have a problem? So
yeah, I think I thought of that the 4th glass after lunch.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe just a habit. I mean, I don't know.
It's a definite habit, right? So Lefray stops by the cafe on the way home, and then he has some coffee with brandy. And then at home, he finishes a whole liter of wine. And his wife sees this and is fucking over it, because I'm sure this isn't the first time it happens, right? Yeah.
Right.
Like we said, habit.
Yeah, habit. Definitely habit. So she's been dealing with 2 small children all day. Prego. It's fucking hot outside. And with this dude who's drunk as fuck, and it's not a cute look. So she calls him lazy, and he told her to shut up. She actually told him to make her. So what did he do? He took his loaded rifle from the wall and shot her through the forehead. And then I know, it's fucked up.
So he's effed up.
He's fucked up. He's had two things of absinthe in the morning. 1 or 2 6 glasses during lunch. Another glass of wine, all strong wine.
Coffee with brandy.
Yep.
And a liter of wine.
And then a liter of wine, all in one day.
And we probably forgot something because we've been drinking too.
Right. Totally. So
it's a hell of a work day.
So then he gets some grief from his wife. She should just be in the kitchen, making him a goddamn sandwich.
Right.
Apparently. So he took that loaded rifle, shot her through the forehead. When his daughter Rose, who was small, came in to investigate, he shot her too. And then he went to the next room, walked to the crib where his other daughter, Blanche, was, and he shot her.
What?
He then shot himself in the jaw, carried Blanche's body out to the garden where he collapsed. So he's in the garden. Everyone's dead. The cops actually found him alive, and he was taken to a hospital where unfortunately he fucking lived. And he stated,
"Please tell me I haven't done this. I loved my family and children so much."
Oh my God.
Yeah, sure you did, you fucking creep. So the public was fascinated with this story, right? Family annihilators, this happens all the time. He killed his entire family.
All the time?
It actually does happen. Chris Watts here in Colorado.
Yeah. Chris Benoit.
Yes. Yeah. He He was a wrestler.
I was just thinking this guy was like the original madman, like spend your whole working day drinking and then go home and be abusive and unloving towards your wife. But he took it to another level.
Unfortunately, yeah, it's awful, and the public becomes fascinated with stories like this. And as Lefray was put on trial, people were following really fucking close. He did what any family annihilator does: found a scapegoat and clung on for dear life. How can I make sense of this? What is it that, caused me to do this? I don't know.
I see where this is going.
Yeah. So he blamed the absinthe, stating that it was the hallucinogenic drink that caused him to kill his family. And the newspapers dubbed this incident the Absinthe Murders.
Oh, God.
So, I mean, come on. What a sexy, newspaper.
That's right. That's a good headline.
It's going to sell lots of papers. People are just clinging on to every word. And I'm feeling this shit. I haven't drank that much.
And then people like Andrew are going to go, hey, I want to try that.
It actually, it does start to taste better the more you drink of it. I will lend that to its credit. I've been taking a few small sips throughout that story because it was needed.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I know it's so fucked up. So, ultimately, the trial started on the 23rd of February in 1906, and it actually ended the same day. So, Lefray's attorneys had argued that those 2 ounces of absinthe was to blame for his actions.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. He actually got a leading Swiss psychologist to testify, stating,
the ferociousness of temper and blind rages that made him shoot his wife for nothing and his poor 2 children, whom he loved.
Yeah. So they were blaming everything on absinthe and on the 2 ounces, 4 ounces, not all
Please.
of the wine that he had the day that same day, the liters of wine. Ultimately, he was found guilty on 4 counts of murder.
Crazy.
Damn, I was going to do some crazy shit today and hope to get away with it.
Well, I mean, you could potentially. I think that you may. I don't know. I guess you probably haven't had 4 ounces.
I was going to take an Uber to do said crazy shit. I wasn't going to drink and drive.
Okay, great.
It would just be crazy, but
you don't own a gun. It's fine. We're good. So, so he actually was found guilty on 4 counts of murder, and then he hung himself 3 days later in his prison cell.
good.
Yeah.
Good.
That's good. Right. Good.
Yeah,
that's good ending to the shitty stories you could get.
But the problem is you have all of these people. The public is incensed. They've been following this. Anytime you have family annihilators who kill themselves, people are questioning why. Is there anything we could do? How can we prevent it from happening again? So the public had to do something, and you have prohibitionists, people who are on their fucking soapboxes saying, liquor is bad. People shouldn't be drinking. It's like, if you can control yourself, then fucking drink, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
But they seized on this opportunity to make it political.
Sure.
And to try
as they do.
Right. As they always do. So they wanted to ban absinthe specifically because it was stated that these were the Absinthe Murders, and that's what caused this whole rampage from happening. There were also other murders that were happening in France and other countries, and absinthe, ultimately, if you're asking me, no one's asking me, but I'm fucking saying it, absinthe is not to blame, right? It's the copious amounts of alcohol that people are drinking that make them...
No, people are to blame.
Right.
It's...
Yeah. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Right. A fire is a fire. Add fuel to the fire. It's just a bigger fire.
It's
like literal fuel that we just tested.
Exactly. Like alcohol and drugs, they just make you more of what you already are. If you were an asshole, it makes you more of an asshole. If you're a murderous asshole, it's going to make you murder people.
It's not going to turn you into a murderer.
Yeah.
No. But it's such an easy scapegoat. It's such an easy thing to just say, okay, this is how we're going to try to fix the problem.
Anything to not take responsibility for your own actions.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
So ultimately, they tried, like people who were prohibitionists were wanting to ban absinthe. They got 82,000 signatures, which is a lot in Switzerland, on a petition leading to that ban. It actually made it, that happened in 1906, and it made it effective in 1910. So there was legislation all throughout Europe and even in the United States, because what does the U.S. do best?
Repress and
Well, yes, that. Keep on going. Keep on going. Let's see what else. What else does it
prohibit me from doing the things that I want to do?
Yeah, right. Let's see. Yeah,
racism. We do that pretty good.
What about like putting your nose into other people's fucking business?
Oh yeah,
like,
there's that.
Like
too.
countries, individuals, whatever.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh yeah, absinthe is a problem over there. Let's ban it here too.
It's not even a thing here.
It's not as much. Like there is an absinthe bar in New Orleans that they were trying to close down. They actually bricked it up in New Orleans.
But wait a minute. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
but not all absinthe is made out of this hallucinogen.
Yes, it does. All of it has wormwood in it.
It does?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
For some reason, I thought that
it wasn't very well regulated. The liquor,
I'm confused
the
on
distillers
that too.
were not regulated very well. So this is kind of getting off a little bit of what I wanted to talk about, but I've researched it anyway. So, so I know about it. But a lot of times, so this was so popular, it was a really great way to make a quick buck. So, you had your distiller, there weren't a lot of rules or laws on what you could put in there. So people were like, okay, we'll add some absinthe into it, like the wormwood absinthe. Then we're going to add some other shit into it that's going to really fuck with people's brains. And so like they were cutting it with a lot of shit, a lot of like, think of, it's another like, what is it that everyone's addicted to right now? Not heroin, but the fentanyl.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you put a little bit of fentanyl and heroin and then it makes it really, or any drug, right? It makes it incredibly strong.
Yeah.
So, they're cutting it with things that will make it incredibly strong, still give people these effects, but maybe not cost as much. So it was not very well regulated.
So if we were to drink that bottle, would we start hallucinating?
It's really strong in alcohol, right? And like any kind of medicinal herb, it can fuck with you and poison you. Just like, I don't know, mushrooms. Mushrooms are technically hallucinogens. They can poison you.
Right.
Same thing with this herb in large quantities. It can do the same thing.
Right.
So it can have hallucinogenic effects. If you have this bottle is actually like, it's the same distiller from 1875. And this is the same recipe that they had.
It is?
Yeah, this one is. This is from Austria.
So are you going to start hallucinating?
Well,
Nothing has started moving yet, and I've been sipping throughout this entire podcast. So.
Right. Not yet, I guess. But those people were drinking them in vast quantities, right?
Sure.
So we're not drinking
3 to 5 slowly.
every single day.
Every day.
That's exactly right.
And you don't have to do anything else.
Yes.
So, as far as like the wormwood goes, yes, it is a hallucinogen. Like there's hallucinogenic effects to it, but really the problem was that the distillers didn't have any rules or regulations guiding them through what is absinthe, how much does it have to have of all of these ingredients.
God, the real good old days.
Right. Where you just fuck people up and put
this much.
right. Put holes in their brain. It's totally fine. So ultimately, because of these absinthe murders that were happening and people putting the blame on absinthe, they started to regulate the industry. It was legislation changed how the liquor was made and distilled, but that was not enough for the public. So by 1912, most of the European countries and the U.S., because we get into everyone's business, dubbed the Green Fairy the Green Devil and outlawed it in any and all forms. So absinthe you could not do it.
Illegal.
It was totally illegal.
Because as we all know, outlawing something definitely makes people stop doing it.
Totally works.
Doesn't it all make anyone be like, oh, they outlawed that?
Totally
Let's figure
works.
out how to get some.
What is it? I've never even liked black licorice.
Do you know anybody that has some?
Right. It's outlawed. Let's try it.
Never heard that. So, fortunately, people bootlegged the liquor, and countries like Spain and the Czech Republic still made absinthe during that time when it was illegal. So, when the drink was marketed to the UK in the 1990s, by a Czech Republic company, many countries started revisiting the antiquated absinthe regulations and bans and revised them to allow absinthe to to be something that could be consumed again in these countries. Switzerland actually lifted the ban on absinthe, which is where this murder took place, and on the production and sale of it in March 2005, which is pretty recent. France actually only allows the label absinthe on products that are destined for export. So even if people are still making absinthe, it can't be called absinthe or say absinthe on the bottle, which is pretty interesting. Absinthe produced for local consumption just carries the label, it's a spirit that has absinthe in it or wormwood based spirits. So
the bottle,
it's so dumb.
So the bottle can still say absinthe, but it has to say a spirit with a base derived from absinthe, basically.
Yeah, because people still have those crazy, ideas behind absinthe that it's a huge hallucinogenic, that it's going to cause people to do bad things, that it's, it's not something that normal people would drink. So, they have those stupid labels on it. But after nearly 100 years, absinthe is alive and well. I got this in a local wine shop, and it's from 1875, made in, what did I say, Switzerland? Oh, Austria. Made in Austria, so it's the traditional historical recipe that they made.
So, I mean, we live in Colorado, and on the ballot, speaking of hallucinogenics,
yes.
I mean, it's no different, like you said, than shrooms.
No, I don't think it is. Yeah. I mean, shrooms probably has.
So,
shrooms does have more of an effect.
More of an effect.
That's that leads me to my experience with absinthe, because when I first did absinthe, the reason I did it is because I'd heard that it made you hallucinate. And I was probably 21 or 22, and I'd never done a hallucinogen before. I was like, oh, cool, let's see what this is. And all that happened was I got drunk, and I was pissed that I had to drink black licorice flavored alcohol to get drunk. But, I didn't say anything cool. And then when I finally at some point tried mushrooms, I was like, this was what I was looking for.
And you didn't have to taste black licorice.
Exactly. And nowadays, in Colorado, you can just swallow some capsules that have ground up mushrooms in them, and it's easy peasy. You don't have to eat those nasty earwax taste and mushrooms.
What's bizarre? I was at a punk rock show a couple weekends ago, and as I was walking into the venue, this guy had, and we're in Denver, Colorado, this guy had these little plastic baggies and was selling
just right out in the open,
out in the open, right there as we were walking into the venue. He's like, "Hey, does anyone want?"
But see, here's the problem.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I know we're getting off topic, but this is interesting.
No.
So, but the problem is when you buy stuff now, you don't effing know what's in it.
You don't know. Mm-hmm.
That's the scary part. Back in the day, back in the 80s, showing my age, you could go buy something, you knew what you were getting. You were buying what you were buying. And nowadays, it could be that or just something totally different. Mm-hmm. Or with something, or
I mean, it's the exact same thing as fucking, absinthe. That's was part of the problem, was that you didn't know what you were getting. People were producing it at such a high rate and such a velocity that you could put anything in there and mix it with some weird shit, and people would be losing their minds.
That's why banning it and deregulating it is actually more dangerous than just allowing it to be
for sure
regulated.
That's
and,
right. That's right.
Produced in a way that you know what's going into it, you know what you're getting, and if you don't want to do it, don't do it.
That's right.
The real question, talking about this right now, is when are we going to have the shroom murders, right? Or where someone hallucinates on shrooms.
That's my point.
Yeah.
There's be no different.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And honestly, that was when the first time I tried it, that was one of my anxieties going into it. What if this is a bad trip? What if I start peeling my skin off because I think I'm an orange or something like that? And that's not the case at all. You actually have to specific. Work to keep yourself awake and moving forward in any way. I don't think I could commit a murder. I don't even think I could have a wrestling match on shrooms. Right. But of course, that is something like that is going to happen someday.
Yeah, right.
And then
the
what?
Shrooms made me did it.
Yeah. The shrooms
made me do it.
Of course, it's going to happen.
This absinthe is kicking my God.
Is it?
Dude, it's pretty strong.
That's why I haven't touched it. It's going to go over there.
I've been following the instructions laid out by Hemingway very slowly.
Very, very slowly. So that's actually the episode.
Wow. It was fascinating.
Yeah. And I'm feeling pretty intoxicated.
Yeah, thanks for having me over.
Feeling
getting
tingly?
me day drunk and posting that on the internet for all to see. I appreciate it, guys. Good friends. Good friends.
Hey,
You're having fun.
I need to have I need to have a little label that I can put under Andrew's name that says "Day Drunk."
Yeah. Exactly. So actually, I had a couple of like show notes and stuff. We'll have any links to the articles that I used in our show notes on our website, thebizarreaf.com.
Good, and I'm looking through them here, and I see you have several links. So.
Mm-hmm. And a picture of that artist that we were talking about getting all fucked up on absinthe. So, which is pretty fun. But yeah,
Good.
Thank you guys for joining me today
Thank
and
you
enjoying
for
the Green
having me.
Fairy.
Thank you
Yeah.
for the fun stuff, and I have to tell you, I took like 2 sips of this thing.
I knew that was going to happen. That's why I was like, I'm not going to put anything in there.
Right, but I don't know if I'm making it up, but I do feel a little buzzed.
The
like-
Green Fairy got you.
I think that shit is hardcore. Well, I lit it on fire. Of course it is. What am I talking about? Cool. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Andrew.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
This has been fun.
Awesome. I think we're going to have another episode next week. Andrew's going to join us in a
Yes.
couple of weeks.
Yes.
For that episode.
It's actually, and it's a fun one. It's a really fun one. It's
think it will
on
be fun.
conspiracy theories involving Denver.
Yes.
So stoked about that.
Yep. So we'll catch y'all in a couple of weeks.
Yes, on the flip side.
Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.